Hey everybody, Fresco Kino. So I want to show you the workflow for iMovie to edit your Zoom interview. Open up iMovie. Of course, you could be using Adobe Rush or another program. I'm going to just show you this in iMovie. So the first thing you want to do is create a new project. So go over to projects over here and we can name this project Zoom Edit. And I'm going to actually clean up the timeline. So the timeline is where you're going to have your finished video. You also will see it over here in the canvas. Now to get footage, you're going to use this guy here, import footage. So there's a couple of options here. You can actually use your webcam with this. So you can pop on over here and record yourself directly. Hi everybody. Or you can get footage. So I'm going to go to my downloads folder. And I downloaded 2 files, Michelle and I doing a Zoom interview. So go to downloads, and there they are. Okay, so these are the 2 files that Zoom gives you after recording. One actually Michelle has sent up to Google for me, and the other one I had. So I recorded Michelle and she recorded me. Okay, so let's select both of these files, and we're going to import them into iMovie. Okay, and then they should appear in the timeline. I mean in the bin up here. Okay, here they are actually. So we have this one of Michelle. You can take a little look at it. So the way you navigate it is with the J, K, and L keys. When you hit L, it starts playing. If you hit L twice, it goes faster. 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So you can go pretty fast. K stops it, and J starts going backwards. Just sounds so cool, right? Going backwards. So same thing, you can hit it, faster. And so the idea is to kind of find your point, right? And then when you find your point, right above the J, K, and L keys, you'll notice there's the I and the O key. Watch what happens over here. When I press I, it brings the in point to the beginning of the edit to that point. If I go to another point, and I can do this on the fly too, and press O, it'll make that the out point. So what I'm going to do is find the beginning of Michelle's question over here. Let's play it a little bit. I'm going to use the space bar just to play it.
Kind of being scrutinized at your level of confidence, at your level presentation skills.
That's the question. She asked me about why is it important to understand presentation skills. So let's find the beginning of that question.
Is it important?
There it is right there. So I'm going to use J to go back. Okay, so here she stopped. And now I can actually do this on the fly too. If I know what she's saying, I can just poise my finger over the I key and hit it.
All right, Michael. Why is it important for our AMC students to learn presentation skills?
Hit
well,
it.
I think presentation.
Okay, so you can hear me in the background of her, but also I'm here again, and hopefully my audio will be better on this one. So this little bit of it here is the in and out for the first edit. And now if you hit the E key, it will go down to the timeline. Okay, so here it is.
Why is it important for our AMC students to learn presentation skills? Why is
okay, so you get the idea how that works, right? So let's find the answer over here now.
And then
have to kind of search around a little
both
bit.
Recording the Zoom call. Doing all the time in business.
There it is. So I'm going to listen for Michelle again.
Okay. All right, Michael. Why is it important for our AMC students to learn presentation skills? Well, I think.
Okay, so there I am answering, and I'm going to use the arrow key now just to back it up so I can close my mouth. Sometimes difficult to do, right? And now I'm going to hit I. So watch what happens, right? Where the little playhead is here now, I will bring it right there.
Seeing me full screen, and we're.
No, I'm sorry. I made a little mistake there.
Okay. All right, Michael. Why is it important for our AMC students to learn presentation skills?
I.
Well, I think presentation skills are something that they're going to be doing all the time in business,
and in any kind of interaction, you're always presenting yourself, whether it's to just one other person or to a huge audience. So you're always going to be kind of being scrutinized at your level of confidence, at your level of preparation, at your skills in speaking and presenting. So I think those are skills that are going to be invaluable for just about any kind of interaction.
Okay, so I'll stop it there and I'll hit O. Okay, now to append this to the timeline, I can hit, I can actually bring this over here and just add it to the story, right? So now if we go to the actual, we can zoom with this. It's a nice control, right? So I'll play just the end of Miss Eller's question.
Presentation skills.
Well, I think presentation skills.
All right, so that seemed a little too natural, right? So I can actually tighten it up a little bit. And the way to tighten it up is just by dragging the end of this, or I can trim it in a couple of different ways. I'll show you a couple of tricks here.
Students to learn presentation skills.
Let's stop right there. And what I'm going to do is Command B. And what that does is it splits the clip where the playhead is. So I'm going to cut this part off. Okay, and now I'll go to mine. Let's see how it plays now with a tighter Michelle.
To learn presentation skills.
Well, I think
so I want to come in with well. And you can see it over here right on the timeline, right? So I can go right to that point almost visually without listening to it and know that I'm going to say well right about here. So it's going to be a little tighter. And now another Command B. We'll split that, delete this waste clip, and now it should be nice and tight.
See students to learn presentation skills.
Well, I think presentation skills are...
So you get the idea how that works, right? This video seems like it's a little out of sync. So I can keep doing that for the entire interview. There's a couple of other things I want to show you here. So one way you might want to edit it then is just cut all Michelle's questions out and just cut your answers. So just cut all the stuff that you're saying that, you know, sounds good and make it seem like a stream of thought, stream of consciousness. So that will work. You can also kind of tighten it up where you cut out any kind of ums and pauses and things like that. The other thing you want to do is add B-roll. So remember, B-roll is what you're talking about. So let's see if we have someone here who looks like they might be presenting. I don't know what I have in this library, but probably nothing that really works. So you guys don't have to bear with me. You'll get the idea of B-roll. So let's imagine that this person here in the radio station is presenting. So I'm going to play it and find a spot where I want to cut away.
Doing all the time in business and in any kind of interaction, you're always presenting yourself, whether it's to just one other person or to a huge audience.
Okay, so let's say over there, you're always presenting yourself.
Any kind of interaction, you're always
right there. Any kind of interaction, right there. I want to do it. Okay, so now if I hit the M key, I can actually put a marker there, and that's really convenient because, you know, you could say to yourself, well, I want to add a title here later, or I need to clean up the audio. So there's all kinds of reasons to use a marker. And, you know, what I'm going to do now is find my B-roll. Okay, so these people don't look like they're presenting. Who looks like they might be presenting here? This person is definitely not presenting, although it's a nice looking video. Anyway, we'll go with the radio station guy. It's just a still image, but you'll get the idea. So now when we go, anything that's on top will show through.
You're always presenting yourself, whether it's to just one other person or to a huge audience. So
okay, so again, we can make this be wherever we want. As far as length, you can fine tune it, you can move it around, but that's the whole idea of the B-roll. It is a cutaway. So if you click on it, you'll open up this thing over here, which shows you some other options. So besides a cutaway, I can also make this a split screen, which will look something like that. That might be interesting. And I can also do a picture-in-picture. I like that, actually, right? So picture-in-picture, which you can kind of make it look like a newscaster. That might be a kind of fun way to do it. Now, be careful, because in a picture-in-picture, obviously, this gets much smaller. So if it's you working and you want to show it in your B-roll, you might want to use full screen. But, you know, you can mix it up a little bit. Let's see how that plays.
Presenting yourself, whether it's to just one other person or to a huge audience. So.
Okay, so you get to see how that works. There is also green screen, and I'll show you that real quick, how a green screen works. Green screen is another interesting thing that you can do. Let's say we take this clip here of FIT, And then we take me behind a green background and put it on top of that.
So, what happens when you use a chroma key?
Okay, let's try it this way. I'm going to bring this clip in. Here's the audio of this clip. We don't really need that audio. It's a little distracting. And then I'll bring my clip in, and you can see how that works.
So, what happens?
So what you want to do is now go to the green screen, and it's amazing how easy this is to do.
What happens when you use a chroma key is you cut part of the image out and key over a different image.
Okay, so that's kind of cool, right? You can do all kinds of interesting things with that. You can even have it appear at a certain time. If I did it a little differently, I could do it where, you know, it doesn't have to start right away. You know, I could cut to it a little bit later on. So that is chroma key. You have to shoot it against a green or a blue background. But again, you might want to have something in your background showing your work. Next thing you want to do is titles. So there's lots of ways to do titles. Let's do a background here. We'll do a quick background image, kind of a, this one, I'll do something like this. Just put that in there for the background. And I'm going to go to titles now. We'll do a quick title over this background. Okay. And then what you want to do is, you can kind of change the length of everything. Let's see how this plays.
Why is it important?
So what I want to do is add some music now. So I'm going to go to audio, and I've got something that I recorded in GarageBand, my brand theme music, right? So I can bring this down. Again, I can set in and out points on this. Why it's being a little difficult, but there we go. So let's bring this down into the timeline now. So you can tell that it's obviously too loud. Let me show you how to fix that. What you want to do is go to this little volume bar. You can make it any volume you want, obviously. What we want to do is make it loud over the title, but then when Michelle starts talking, it's going to go under, but not totally out. Let's try this. I'm going to click the Option key here, and I'm just holding down the Option key and clicking on there, and I'm making what are called keyframes. You need two of them to obviously do anything. So let's start with this one where I bring it down before Michelle talks. Okay, I should be able to drag this too, right? Something like that. And bring it down a little bit. So the music is still going to be there to make a nice smooth transition. Let's see how that plays.
Why is it important for our AMC students to learn presentation skills?
Okay, so I may want to actually go right to the end of her question, and it'll cut out on me.
Why is it important for our AMC students to learn presentation skills?
Well, I think presentation skills are something
Kind of abrupt, actually. So I would do something more like, you know, another keyframe here maybe, and then fade it totally out.
Why is it important for our AMC students to learn presentation skills?
Well, I think presentation skills are something.
So you get the idea, right? So now we got the title, the B-roll, the music. We can do another title on Michelle here. Let's do a lower third on her. Okay, so again, it's pretty easy to use. And you can play around with all kinds of font tools and whatever. Gives you a little credibility to know who you're talking to. Sometimes it can be a little cliched.
Why is it important for our AMC students to learn presentation skills?
Well, I think
Okay, so that gives you everything over there, and later on we can discuss more advanced tools. So obviously if you go into this area, you can do other things like adjust the color palette, adjust for exposure, color grade, right? We talked about that in the lecture a little bit, create a certain mood, We can crop the image. So we can do all kinds of different crops here. Ken Burns is where it actually moves from one to the other. And then crop to fill might be, you know, cutting out some kind of distracting area, something like that. So if I wanted to, you know, make this tighter, maybe make it a tighter shot like that. And I could kind of zoom in digitally. Stabilization, if you have a shaky camera, you can use this. Here's all your sound tools here that you can do to adjust the levels. You can also use various filters here and equalization. Here's our speed change. So you can do things like speed up the take. Obviously, it gets shorter.
Something that you're doing all the time in business and in any kind of interaction, you're always presenting.
So that's my chipmunk imitation. And you can do all kinds of speed changes. You can customize it to a certain percentage. You can also slow it down. Okay, think about how you could use that creatively. We have all kinds of color filters we could use to enhance the image. And then finally, just some basic information. So other audio effects too, which can be fun. How about on the telephone, right? All kinds of things in there. So that's the basics. Let me know if you need any help. We could spend a whole semester. A lot of people spend a whole career on mastering the technique of editing. So it's like anything, you have to practice it to master it. And you know, you guys got your project ahead of you now, so make the most of it. And let me know, or Michelle, if you need any help. We can always do a Zoom meeting and try to walk you through it.